Future of Wealth has been absolutely incredible.
I have to say, it's the best thing I've ever done.
It's allowed my entire business to open up for me.
I actually walk around feeling happy and fulfilled.
My mind is completely blown.
Some of the best, biggest successes that I've ever experienced in my life are happening now.
Welcome to this video. Listen, we're about to make a small shift in your mind, but this shift is going to make it possible for you to achieve any dream you've ever had, even the wildest of dreams, especially when it comes to wealth. You see, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. It's changed my life. It's transformed who I am. But the problem is that most systems out there that teach the law of attraction, well, they work along these lines and they teach you to do things that are actually trying to trick your mind. Now, this is a very risky game to play with your mind. So what I'm going to share with you today, it goes away from that. We're still working on law of attraction, but we are now going to learn how to turn our minds into an ally. It's like having a very transparent relationship with your mind, where instead of trying to trick it into believing things or seeing things, you actually work right alongside of it, and it helps you finally achieve the things that you're trying to achieve. You know, in the past, I followed the very systems that you're probably used to hearing, and I was very successful, all right? I went on to make millions of dollars. I started with just $100 in my pocket, and I went on to become incredibly successful. I was achieving every single dream I could ever want. And I thought that everything I had studied, I thought I had mastered the mind. I thought I knew how to attract any dream I want in my life. Okay, so now years go by, I'm traveling the world, I'm speaking on the biggest stages, I'm being featured in magazines, I'm making all the money I can possibly want to make. I'm living the life. But this whole time, what I didn't realize is I'm setting up these little mind holes, these little traps that, if not addressed, I could fall into very quickly. And that's exactly what happened. All right, so all of a sudden, it was almost like a blink of an eye, I lost everything. Everything I had earned, everything I'd made, and I went all completely in the negative direction. So I sat back and I thought, well, what happened? And what I realized was these little holes. I had fallen right into one of them. And that was when I realized, you know what? The system I was following was working, but it wasn't foolproof. And that's when I created the system you're about to learn today, and it is foolproof. It's, again, developed in such a way that your mind works alongside of you. And that's where the name of my company comes from. A lot of people ask me, what does VSS Mind Media stand for? Well, V is for visualize, S is for strategize, and the last S is for select. All right, these are the three parts to mastering your mind, and in order to achieve any dream, and I mean this, any dream, especially when it comes to wealth. So again, remember, visualize, strategize, select. And I'm going to take you through each of these three parts today in this very video. Now, this isn't one of those videos that you just watch and kind of mosey along. Look, I'm going to give you exercises and I want you to do them. As a matter of fact, below this video, you're going to see an area to leave comments. And we are going to incentivize you and reward you for interacting and doing the assignments. So when I give you an assignment, I want you to do it. And hey, if you're comfortable with it, put your results, put your answers, put your findings into the comment section below. Share it with the world, be accountable for it, get a chance to win some cool prizes, and really put the system into action. You yourself are going to start to see the results. By the way, last year, actually a little less than a year ago, over 10,000 people went through a system where they got a chance to do the very exercises that you're going to do right now, and the results were tremendous. You are seeing some of the case studies, the testimonials, and I'm telling you, I have seen with my own eyes lives transform. I mean, I've seen my own life transform. I've seen the lives of my family members, my best friends transform. And then I got a chance to see thousands, okay? So again, I'm going to insist that you follow along, do the exercises. You can pause the video, you can come back and watch it again, but make sure you do each of the exercises, all right? So now let's get into what you're about to learn in this video. All right, so you're ready, right? Now you have committed that you're gonna move alongside of me and do the exercises. So first, like we discussed, there's the visualize part of the formula. Now, today, we're going to go over 2 things very specific that you absolutely must do in order to master visualizing, okay? So number 1 is going to be your dream board, or also known as a vision board, all right? I want to talk to you about why this is so ridiculously important. If you don't have one yet, trust me, it's going to transform your life. Just this one step alone from this video. Number 2, I'm going to go over something I call the vision bank. Now, this is an actual exercise I really want to see you complete. And I want you to post your results from it in the comment section below. It's going to really enlighten you. What this particular exercise is going to answer is, what is wealth? Right now, if I had to ask you, what's wealth? How much money do you have to be wealthy? 99% of you will not be able to answer that question with a specific number. Well, after this exercise, you will be able to. And the next section, of course, is strategize. So we are going to talk about the actual strategy of achieving your dreams, right? So here, I'm going to go over something called the Mini Vision Mastery Program, okay? So, the Mini Vision Mastery Program. This is a very intricate system, and I'm going to be doing a live presentation, a webinar that I want you to attend that's going to happen a few days from now, all right? And you can see somewhere on this page a registration for it where we're going to get into much more detail, but today I will get you almost to the point where you understand exactly what you need to do. This could be one of the most key parts of the entire process of achieving your dreams, all right? And then the third, last but not least, of course, is select. So this is the part where we are going to learn the importance of focusing in. Now, this is a really, really key part, and this part alone is responsible for having made me millions of dollars. So the 2 parts inside of select that we're going to discuss are, 1, I call the power, and it's getting a little hard to write. Okay, the power of momentum. Let me tell you something. When I had my big debacle and my big fall, where I went from millions in the positive to millions in negative, this was one of the key areas where I faltered, big time. I'm going to reveal exactly how you can avoid making those mistakes. Number 2 is what we call the wake-up test. And sorry if my handwriting is getting a little bad, but I guess you guys can read that. The wake-up test. Now, what's a wake-up test? Well, you'll see in a minute. But essentially, when you tie all 3 of these together with just what you're going to learn in today's video, you are going to be light years ahead of where you are today towards achieving your dreams. So, are you ready to get started with the first part where we're going to talk about dream boards? If so, let's do it. All right, time to talk about dream boards, vision boards. You know, this has actually been on Oprah. Vision boards or dream boards, you may hear me use these terms interchangeably, just go with it, all right? Because I hear both, so I just say both. But a vision board sounds like the simplest concept, yet it is absolutely transformational. It has transformed my life like in ways I cannot tell you. You know, I have devices in my house. For example, I'll show you my handy dandy iPad. The background, the actual wallpaper to this iPad is a vision board. My cell phone, the background, the wallpaper of my cell phone is a vision board. My laptop, the wallpaper of my laptop is a vision board. I have big vision boards in my home. I've also created a little concept that I love to call my vision wall. Now, I wish I could take credit for this, but it was a friend of mine, and I'll tell you a fun story here. I was decorating my house in Mumbai, India, and I needed to put up paintings or pictures to cover one wall, and I just couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. And my friend comes to me and says, hey, what if you put up your visions or pictures that represent your visions on that wall? How cool of an idea was that? So I made something called a vision wall. I'm surrounding myself with pictures of my dreams. all the time, no matter what I'm doing, no matter where device I'm on or where I'm looking, even in my house, they're all over the place. I'm going to explain to you the science behind this and why this makes all the difference. But first, what's a vision board? All right, so here is a poster board, all right? The first step you're going to take to making a vision board is essentially listing out all your dreams, okay? This is the part where you're not shy. This is the part where you're real with yourself. So you're going to make, I'll do it here. You're going to make a list, and you can make this list as big as you want. It's your list. It's your dreams. It's your vision board. So you're going to make a list. Okay, so what's an example? I have dreamt of having an Audi R8 for years. Audi R8 is on my vision board. I've been dreaming of building 10 schools for underprivileged children around the world. That's on my vision board. I've dreamt of having a glass beach house. That's what you heard me right. A house made of mostly glass. Okay, that's on my vision board. I've dreamt of having a New York Times bestseller book. That's on my vision board. I've also dreamt of many things that have completed. All right, they're done. I've removed them from my vision board because they happened. Believe it or not, I'm only 30 years old and I have completed so many tasks on my dream list because of this vision board. I give all credit to it. All right, so first you make a list. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go to Google Images. Okay, so you go to google.com, then you click on the little Images tab, and you're going to type in the name of your dream. So for example, if one of the dreams was an Audi R8, you're going to type that in. You're going to find a picture you love that represents the Audi R8, and you're going to print it out. And when you print it out, you're going to, on a physical paper, okay? I know in the digital age we're not used to this, but physical paper, you're going to cut that picture out, and you're going to paste it on your board. All right? Then you're going to take the next dream, paste it on your board, next dream, paste it on your board, scatter it amongst your board. That's it. It's as simple as that. That's your vision board. And now you're going to take this board and you're going to place it anywhere you want in your house. Somewhere where you get a chance to see it a lot. All right? So this board can be as full as you want, but you want to make sure that it's very visible. Everything should be very easy to see on it. The whole point here is the more you look at this board, the more you're going to jog your memory of exactly what it is you want to achieve in your life. Now, why does this work? Why does all of a sudden this begin to help you achieve your dreams? And why are all the biggest people in personal development talking about vision boards? Well, let's get into the science of it.
Future of Wealth has been absolutely incredible.
It's allowed me to realign my priorities and refocus on things that I've been trying to do for years.
From today, you'll have all the tools to make all your dreams come true.
Okay, so real quick little science lesson. There's a system inside of your brain called the RAS. It's the Reticular Activating System. All right? So again, RAS, Reticular Activating System. What does this system do? I'm going to give you a really good example that you can probably relate to. Let's say you're in the market to buy a new car. And so you're going around all the dealerships and you're looking at new cars. And you suddenly see one car and you really like it. And so you spend more time talking about it with the actual dealership. You're asking questions. Maybe you test drive it. And you start to really think more about that car. Okay, done. You leave the dealership. You decide you're going to figure it out later if you want to buy it. Now you're driving home and you're going back home and suddenly the car passes you. And you're like, whoa. And suddenly the car passes you again. Suddenly there's one of the same cars behind you. Now you're going through your driveway or you're going through your neighborhood. As you approach your driveway, you look to your right and your neighbor has one. Or this other neighbor has one. And you start to think, man, this car just got really popular. Well, no it didn't. Those cars have always been there. They've always been on the road. You just didn't recognize them. It's actually your reticular activating system that's now helping you actively see these things because your brain is conscious of it. Your brain knows it exists and your brain's attention is on it. This is where a vision board comes into play, all right? What happens inside your mind or inside your reticular activating system is it's constantly looking at these pictures. It's aware of things that are important to it. So what you're going to start to immediately see, or what you're going to start to, well, you won't see this actually, that's the beauty of it. You won't know what's happening. But, in life, we have to make decisions. small decisions like, what am I going to wear today? To big decisions like, which house am I going to buy? Or where am I going to move? Or am I going to do this business deal or not? Am I going to take this job or not? But when you have decisions, let me just erase something off the whiteboard here, make some room for myself. All right. Now, when you have decisions to make, there's possible routes. You can go this way, you can go this way, you can even go this way. Your RAS, your mind, is going to slowly start to help you make active decisions that are leading you towards your dreams, because it's aware of those dreams. And it's going to make decisions that are, the vibe is in line with that dream. So that's why I always say a vision board is a very scientific tool. It's not just some woo-woo concept. It actually has science behind it. And that's why you want to be surrounded by visuals of your dream. Okay? It's all over all my devices. So today I'm going to give you one assignment. It's simple, it's quick, but you have to do it. All right? And by the way, many people do struggle doing this exercise. The reason is we're scared of declaring dreams. Why are we scared of declaring a dream? Because we're scared we won't achieve it. We don't want people to know what our dreams are. We don't want the chance of we don't want to feel like failures when we don't do it, okay? I have this problem with people very close to me. So I'm going to ask you, if you want to keep this exercise private, that's okay. But please do the exercise. Now, for those of you who are willing to go public with it, I want to see your vision boards. So, somewhere on this page, you see instructions on how to get involved in a really fun contest we're doing. We want you to make your vision board and take a picture with it, or give us a picture of your vision board. And we're going to post it down below, and we're going to brag about it to the world, and you're going to get a chance to see how it changes your life. Again, the steps to making it are list out your dreams, get a poster board, print out images, and place them on there. There's also great tools on the internet to help you make digital boards, but I really want you to make a physical one, all right? So that's the quick rundown here. The first exercise to help you visualize is make a dream board. All right, time to talk about a vision bank. Now, this is a very important exercise, and it's going to be something it's going to push you out of your comfort zone, but I want you to commit to doing it because it really sheds a lot of light. One of the questions I was asked once, years ago, it was, someone said, what do you want in your life? And I said, I want to be wealthy. And they said, well, great. What does that mean? And I remember looking at them like deers in headlight. I said, I don't know, I want a lot of money. They're like, well, how much? And then again, I was like, I just a lot. And they started telling, it's so funny because in our lives and everything else we do, we're very specific, right? And the more specific you are, the more instruction you're giving to your mind. So in a case of wealth, all right, if you want a future of wealth, you need to be able to tell your mind what that number is. So what I've done is put together a little example. This is just a small example, all right? And so what I've done is put together a vision board, right? It's got a list of all the different things that could be on someone's vision board. So first, we've got an Audi R8. I shared with you that that's one of my dream cars. Now, what I'm going to start to do is assign a monetary value to my dreams, all right? So an Audi R8, I know, is going to roughly cost me, I don't know, let's just say it's $200,000, all right? It's a little less, but for simplicity of math. Then I say glass house. Well, I've done some research on this and I discovered that the gorgeous house in the gorgeous beach house location I want would be about $5 million. All right. Then we say 10 schools. Well, fortunately I can speak about this because I've already begun to build my first one. And what I've discovered is a total budget that can fund the school until it becomes self-sustaining is about $40,000 per school. So $40,000 times 10 is going to be $400,000. Now, I bet you can already see where I'm starting to go with this. Now, next is Australia. Now, there's a really funny story here for me personally. Australia has become like my Achilles heel. I have traveled throughout the world. I've been to so many places. But this was the first place I ever wanted to go to. Ever. all right? And I've just not been able to make it to Australia. And every time I book a trip, every time there's something planned, it gets canceled. Something happens last minute. This has happened 5 times in a row. All right, so anyways, it's on my dream board. I'm gonna go to Australia. Let's say I wanna take a complete first-class trip. All right, I'm talking about pampered, best hotels, first-class flight, everything with my wife. It could take me, I don't know, $30,000? Probably a lot less, but let's just put $30,000 for now. All right? Next goal is to start a business, right? So I don't know what kind of business anyone may want to start, but let's just assume $100,000 to start the business. So $100,000 to start the business. Now this next one is key. So retirement. At what point, now look, I know myself, I'll never retire. I love what I do. I love talking to you guys. I love training you guys. I love educating, and I love seeing transformations happen all over the world because of something I've done. But how much money would I need to make every single year to feel like, hey, you know what? I'm making a ton of money. So much money that I don't need to work. I can do anything I want. So I gave myself a number. I said, if I can make $1 million a year, I could do anything I want. I could do everything I want, and I could take some time to relax. So in order to make $1 million a year on autopilot without having to lift even a finger, basically through investments, I said, let's keep math simple. Let's assume I can make some investments that get me a 10% rate of return, okay? You don't have to worry about the math, guys. This little math I'm about to do, it's insignificant. But just for purposes of explaining, I basically figured out if I had $10 million sitting in an investment, getting 10% return, I would make $1 million a year on autopilot. So this number was $10 million. That's a pretty big number, right? It's the biggest of all of them. And then the last one was family and relationships. Well, you don't necessarily need money for that, right? To have a beautiful relationship, to have a beautiful family. Basically, you just need to remind yourself at all times that, hey, I need to spend time with my family. I need to spend time on those relationships. So when it comes to the purposes of a vision bank, I just kind of null and void this from a monetary perspective. One of the cool things about a dream board and the next part, the strategize part, is as you start to address certain one of these things, you're going to eventually put yourself in a position to be able to much better or more easily address certain other things, right? So for example, let's say you retired. Well, now you're going to be able to it's going to be very easy for you to invest in your family and your relationships, but you may not necessarily want to wait that long to do so. All of this comes into strategy, which we'll share, but for the purposes of this exercise, I have put up a small example for you that shares what my vision bank is. Now, you can pretty much assume what I'm going to do with these numbers, right? I got my handy dandy calculator out, and what I'm going to do is add them up. So 200,000 plus 5 million plus 400,000 plus 30,000 plus 100,000 plus the big one, 10 million. And the number reaches 15,730,000. So I have to find a place to write it. All right. So I'm just going to shorten it for $15.7 million. So at $15.7 million, I've, with this example, met every dream that is in my life. Isn't that cool? I can do everything in my life for $15.7 million. So when someone asks me in this example, what is wealth? Wealth is $15.7 million. How cool is that? You have a direct answer for your mind now. So when you tell your mind, hey, I want to be wealthy, let's go out and achieve dreams. And your mind comes back and says, what does that mean? It means $15.7 million. That's what we got to make. That's what we got to put together. All right? And this is just an example. Yours could be a lot bigger. It could be a lot smaller. Mine, if I were to actually sit down and do it, it's a little bit bigger than that. Could be smaller. But guys, now you know exactly what wealth is. Now you know exactly what you need to earn. Now you know exactly what you need to make. And now your mind has direction. It has a possibility to be your ally. And it's not going to sit there every time you say, I want to be wealthy. Your mind's not going to revert back and say, oh yeah, well, what's wealth? You've removed that poisonous thought. And now given your mind a chance to be your buddy. All right? So what I want you to do now, it's very simple. You've already done your vision board, right? Or you're going to do your vision board any minute now. Once you've done that, I want you to sit down and I want you to calculate what your vision bank is. And in the comment section below, I want to challenge you to post what your dollar amount is. As great as it is, as small as it is, doesn't matter. It's your wealth. It could be billions, or it could be a couple million, it could be a few 100,000. I want to know what it is. I want you to know what it is. Post it below, and let's see where we go. All right? Now, the next section, we're going to get into strategizing, because you've got all these dreams, okay? You can't do them all at the same time. And that is one of the biggest mistakes that is not addressed in anyone that talks about the vision board. I'm going to teach you how to take this, which is that scattered puzzle, and organize it and create what we call your own wealth map. Okay? It's called your own wealth map. That's in the strategy section, and that's coming up next.
I feel that I am where I have always wanted to be in my life, and I can literally see my dreams coming true right before my eyes.
It will change your life. It will change the way you think, the way you look at your finances, the way you look at money. It will change everything.
You'll get out of just the daydreaming phase, and you'll start making baby steps to manifest more money within days, literally within days.
All right, time to discuss strategy, the S, the first S of VSS. And you know what? Silly me, when I did the introduction for you guys, completely forgot one of the most important parts of a strategy, and that is core values. I just skipped right over it, but we're not going to skip it in the video. This is one of my favorite exercises. You know, so I told you, right? I went, saw millions, did great, blah, 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 and then suddenly I dove, and everything went to, as great as things were, 3 times as bad I got, because of something I discovered by doing this exercise. Unfortunately, I did it a little late, but at least I did it, and I learned so much about myself. What you're going to find out when you do the core values exercise, and you're going to do it right now, okay, is sometimes we think one of our dreams is a dream. But then when we do the core values exercise, we learn that they're actually conflicting. And this can be one of the biggest holes. Remember I talked about a hole that you can fall into? Well, this is where one of my holes was, and I fell right into it. And this is a really serious thing that you want to make sure you address ahead of time. So what's a core value? A core value is what makes you up. Who are you? What is one of your core values? Now, I learned this exercise from Tony Hsieh. He's the CEO of Zappos, and now people joke of him as the new mayor of downtown Vegas. This guy is out there doing things that entrepreneurs can only dream of. And I have the pleasure of knowing him personally. And years ago, I went to his office, and I was sitting down with him one-on-one, and we were talking. And Zappos is known for being such a great corporate culture and such a great corporate company. He told me to do one exercise. Of hours of meeting and talking, he told me to walk away and just do one exercise. He says, you need to know the core values of your company. And he gave me this little blueprint to use to do it, which I'm going to share with you today. But I took his exercise one step further. I got so intrigued by this core value exercise for my company that I decided to do it for myself. And what we came to learn was just amazing. All right? So, a core value exercise is going to essentially help you figure out what is most important to you in your life. Let me give you an example. One of my greatest core values is to live my life for experiences. I don't live my life to make money. I don't live my life for anything other than experiences. For example, I shot a movie. I was a star in a movie. I made this full production in India, in Bollywood, and some of you may remember it. It was called Lethal Commission. And many people made fun of it. Many people thought it was tacky. Many people loved it. I personally loved it. Why did I do it? No, it wasn't supposed to be a theatrical release. It was a promo video for a product I was releasing. I did it because I got a chance to experience what it's like to make a movie, to produce it, to act in it, to help create the script of it. It was so much fun. Now, for the rest of my life, no matter what dinner table I'm sitting at, if anyone ever talks about production or movie making, I can speak about it. So that is a great, that's one of my core values. I want to live my life for experiences. My second core value that's been in my life was loyalty. I'm a person who believes that when others do good for you, you not only have to reciprocate that, but you have to remember that for a long time to come. I'm a very loyal person. One of my other core values is benevolence. I love to give back. As you can tell, I told you one of my dreams is to build 10 schools around the world. Giving back is a very strong core value of mine. And another one of my core values is pure freedom. Now, what I mean by freedom isn't necessarily financial freedom. It's not necessarily any kind. I just want to be free. I want to be able to wake up every morning and do that which I want to do. Okay? I don't want an external force on my life telling me what I need to do. I don't want deadlines and this and that and people calling me and shouting at me and yelling. I just want freedom. I want to be able to live in peace. Okay, so peace, freedom and peace. That's what I write the core value as. Okay, so what's the process of determining your core values? Well, step one, and I want you to do this, okay? I actually want you to do this exercise today, and I again challenge you to post it below. I'd love to see what your core values are. So first thing is I just make a list of as many as I can think of myself. What do I think my core values are? But that's not the revealing part of this exercise, okay? But it's the step one. So you might make 7 things, you might write 5 things, you might write 10 things. I challenge you not to write more than 10. It's going to start to get confusing. But 5 to 7 is that sweet spot, all right? So one of my friends actually gave me this core value. He said, I just love to travel. And I tried to challenge him and said, that's not a core value. And he goes, no, it really is. It makes me feel alive. I want to travel all the time. I don't want to be in one place. And he actually does right now. The guy is never in one place longer than 3, 4, 5 days. And he couldn't be happier. All right? So I just want you to write down what you think. Now, step 2. This is the really fun part of it, but it's a little scary, and you may not want to do this, but I challenge you to still do it. All right? Is to take 3, 4, 5 people, max in your life, and I want you to pick 5, let's say it's 5, I want you to pick 5 from all over, different areas of your life. Maybe some friends, maybe some colleagues, and a couple of people from your family. So it's like, you could do 2, 2, 1, you could do 2, 2, 2, you could pick 6 people, it's fine. Because they all see different sides of you. And what I want you to do is an exercise to see what they think your core values are. And I gotta tell you, this is one of those revealing exercises. When I did this in my life, I'll never forget this. I have goosebumps right now just talking about it. When I did this, there were trends I saw. When people responded, I got a chance to see how I project myself in the world, and whether there's some changes needed or whether I have core values that I was not aware of. Now, one of the things that I was very pleased to find is I found a consistent number of people saying, live life for experiences. I couldn't believe it, but a lot of people, I think I surveyed about 10 people, and they all responded, by the way. People loved doing this exercise. It wasn't like I was bothering anybody. They actually thought it was really fun, asked questions, and a few of them went on to do it themselves. And I think out of 10 people, 4 or 5 said, live life for experiences. And I thought, wow, I never thought I'd actually say that, but wow, okay, people pick up on it. Another one that I saw that I wasn't so proud of in those days was make money. And that's not my core value. It's nowhere on my core value list, but seeing it come back from other people freaked me out. I thought, oh my God, I am doing something in my life that is projecting incorrectly, and that means it's impacting all my energy waves, it's impacting the universe, it's impacting my being. And so I need to make sure I figure out what that is. But I also found others that were really cool. Like, I didn't realize loyalty was one of my core values. That came from other people. I saw it consistently come up, and I thought, oh yeah, that's right. It really is. They're right. And so that helped me create my core value list. Now, when I did this exercise, I was pretty down and out. My business was really falling apart, and things were going haywire. And I'm going to give you an example of where, again, I'm getting goosebumps talking about this part of my life, but I had a major revelation that happened, all right? One of the values that came up for me consistently that I've shared with you was freedom. Okay, I want to be free to do whatever it is I want. And I mean that. I want to wake up. If I don't want to wake up till 11, I don't want to have to wake up till 11. That's my dream, okay? One of the goals on my list of goals, you ready for this? I don't know why it was on there, okay, but it was on there, was to have a business with 1,000+ employees. Can you start to see a problem here? So what happened, and this is exactly why my business fell apart. I'm going to give you the exact reason right now. When I was building my company, everything was going great. I started opening offices around the world. I had 3 offices around the world. And, well, it was in line with one of my goals, right? I wanted a big company with 1,000+ employees. I wanted to do hundreds of millions in revenue, and I wanted VPs. I wanted to live that CEO lifestyle. I wanted to, have board meetings and have people reporting to me and have a bunch of employees and just feel really important and get lost in the sex appeal of having this big company, right? It was a dream of mine. But what I never realized was when you have that, you have responsibilities, you have people to answer back to, you have to, manage these offices, you have to be up and around, and you have to deal with people's problems, and a lot of stuff comes in. It annihilates one of my core values. Let me tell you today, right now, if anything on your goals directly conflicts with a core value of yours, you are setting up a big hole that you're going to fall into. And it can be catastrophic. For me, it nearly ended my life. Because what began to happen is I began to hate the company that I was building because it was taking away something from me that I loved. I began to hate the company. I began to spend less and less time in the business. I began to run away from problems. And those problems began to accumulate. Expenses kept going up. Revenue started going down. My involvement with the business that I had built went to nil. And before I knew it, the business was on its knees. All right? I credit this whole little thing happening here to a big part of why my business fell apart in those days. Today, I really honor this particular core value of mine. My business is bigger as far as revenue goes than it ever was in those days. And in those days, I had over 80 employees. Today, I have just north of 10. And they're the creme de la creme. I don't have an office. They're all virtual, and they're the best people in the world. And when I want things done now, I don't hire. I get contractors. Now, this isn't a course about how to build a company, but I'm trying to tell you is that by recognizing this, I changed the way I live. I changed the way I achieve my goals and dreams, which are in line with my core values, and that's why I can be so happy. So, do this today. Core values are very key because as we keep going on and on, as we get to the next part of the strategy, you gotta have done your core values, all right? So you can either pause this video and do the exercise, or you can keep watching and come back. The video's not going anywhere. But I do want you to do this exercise, and when you do it, again, remember, I'm literally bribing you to go below and leave comments and interact with us. Let the world see what you're doing so that others are inspired to as well follow and suit and do it. And I would just love to read your core values. I'd love to get to know everyone who's watching these videos, and we'll talk about it. We'll converse back, and other people will respond, and let's create more of a community. So, step 1, make your own list first of what you think are your core values, or what would you like to have be your core values. Step 2, reach out to 5, 6, 7 people, whatever you feel comfortable with. Remember, couple from your personal friends, couple from your colleagues, couple from your family. They all see different sides of you. Ask them. Just send them an email saying, hey, if you had to name my core values, the things that are most important to me, can you give me the top 5? Please take a minute to do this. It's really easy for people to do this, and they'll respond right away. Then you take the 2, mesh them together, see where you come out, and then you pick anywhere from 3 to 5 that are going to be your core values, and we're going to then balance them against your goals. Any goal you have that directly contradicts your core value, it's going to be cut off. It's not a goal of yours. It's not a dream. I'm telling you right now. Or one of these has got to go. So either you change your core value or you change your goal, but they cannot contradict one another. All right? Let's move on to the next part of strategizing, which is going to be your Mini Vision Mastery Program. All right, now it's time to talk about the next part of strategizing, okay? Now, this part that I'm about to talk about, I'm going to hit on it very quickly, but I want you to know that I'm going to do a much more detailed presentation purely on the Mini Vision Mastery Program on May 12th, okay? So somewhere on this page, again, around this video, you're going to get an option to register for a live training. It's going to happen on May 12th, and we'll probably have a couple of different times we're doing it. Please take a minute and register for it because it's trust me, it's going to be one of the most life-changing trainings you come to. And this is such a key concept. The Mini Vision Mastery System is such a key concept that it can completely transform the way you attack your dreams, all right? The way you go about achieving them. So right now, Mini Vision Mastery is all about giving your mind the option or the opportunity, really, to see that you indeed can make your dream come true, all right? What do I mean? All right, I'm going to work backwards, and I'm going to share a personal example with you that's going to bring this whole thing to picture, all right? Now, one of my goals a few years ago when I got into really deep heat was to come out of $1.7 million in debt, all right? So I had $1.7 million accrued of debt, and I wanted to come out of this. So when I tell my mind, hey, you've got $1.7 million of debt to come out of, go. My mind immediately returns and says, are you kidding me? Seriously? That's a lot of freaking money. How are we going to do this? Okay? So what I decided to do, or not decided to do, but what I learned to do out of force was I had to break that down. Okay? So imagine this is my goal. I mean, it was. There's no need to imagine. This was my goal. Some of you may be able to relate. You may have debt yourself, and you need to find a way to come out of it, right? So what I did is I broke this number down. This was a natural part of the process. Now, I owed money all over the place. I'm not going to get into the great nit and gritty in details, but let's say I owed money to the banks, all right? I owed money to credit cards. I owed money to friends and family. So I'll just say friends. And I remember another big chunk was I owed money to my affiliates and some vendors. So basically people who had done me a service, but I wasn't able to return the compensation for. So these were, and there were more chunks, but for simplicity of this example, let's just say, all right, I owed, well, let's not just say, I remember it was about $200,000 to banks, okay? It was about $100,000 to credit cards, all right? It was about $350,000 that I owed to friends and family. And affiliates was, I mean, in real, the number was closer to $500,000. Now, I know this may not total up to $1.7 million, but just go with it for the example purpose, all right? So in essence, what I ended up doing was creating mini goals or mini visions, interchangeable term, okay? So now what I did to my mind was I said, you know what, mind, for a minute, forget this. Forget about the 1.7 million. Let's focus on 200,000. All of a sudden, my mind shut up. It didn't have the loud, glaring objection that it does to this number, because this seemed a lot more achievable. And at that time, this was my biggest pain in the butt, because the banks were calling me every single day to remind me and to get their money back. Now, I'm going to get into a lot of selection. During the selection time, we're going to get into a lot about how you figure out what chunk to go over. Also on that live training that I conduct on May 12th, I'm going to get into a lot more details about how to select or how to organize these mini visions, okay? But you'll start to understand why mentally this is really key. Really, really key. All right? So now what I did is I forgot about all this. This was erased. This was out of my memory. This was out of my thinking process, okay? And I focused purely on this $200,000. And so essentially I needed to come up with a plan of attack for this. So I used something I call the PEG method. And the PEG method is a brilliant concept that I don't have the time to go over right now, but I will on May 12th, on Monday. So you're going to get a chance to really understand exactly what the PEG method is. So in this concept, I basically took a big goal, broke it down into mini visions, mini goals, and then created an attack plan on each one. So I want you to do this exercise as well. And by the way, this helped me pay my debt back like this. It was amazing, the transformation I did, especially because I put the PEG method into it, where I started pegging certain assets I have in my life to help address each chunk one at a time. And it helped me put the law of focus into action, which was super key, really key. All right? So, what I want you to do, one of the exercises that you're going to do now before we walk away from this particular segment is I want you to take one of your goals. And I want you to see if you can break it down into mini visions. Maybe one of your goals in your life is to lose weight, is to get healthy, all right? And so what I want you to do is, let's say you want to lose 30 pounds. That's a big number. And your mind, when you tell it that I need to lose 30 pounds, your mind says, you freaking lost your mind. It's not that easy. Tell you what, break it into 10 mini goals of 3 pounds each. Now you tell your mind, I need to lose 3 pounds. Suddenly, it's a whole new ball game. All right? So I want you to take one of your dreams and just practice this. And again, as always, I want you to go below on the comment section and I want you to tell me which dream you took and how you've broken it down. Maybe one of your dreams is, for example, I had a dream that said I want to go to Australia, and that needed $30,000 to make that happen. So what I could do is break that down. How do I break down that? Okay, well, I want to fly first class. And the first class tickets for me and my wife will cost me $10,000. Breakdown number one. I want to stay in a 5-star hotel for 10 days. It's going to cost me $300 per night to stay. $3,000. Breakdown. I want to stay at I want to go visit these following places. All right, I want to do this when I'm there. I don't know. The $30,000 number was right. I just threw it out. Okay. So what you're going to do is break it into little teeny chunks and go after each one of those. All right, maybe you want to buy your dream home, and your dream home is going to cost you $1 million. That's a big number. Well, could you break it down? Right? Could you approach getting to your dream home in steps? Maybe your first home isn't that home. Maybe your first home is figuring out how to buy a $300,000 home. And then from there, you'll stay there for a couple of years, few years, and then you're going to get to the $600,000 home. Right? So this whole process is a very key component of what I mentioned before called your wealth map. We're going to actually build a roadway, because what's going to happen, and I'll share a lot more of this on May 12th, on Monday, okay? But what's going to happen is we're going to, and for a lack of space, I'm just going to use down here, we're going to build a staircase that leads right to your main goal. That's what we're going to do. We're going to basically start right here, and we're going to do little things to get us to the eventual main goal. But the best part about the Mini Vision Mastery Program is that you get a chance to really focus your mind and create momentum. Remember, I told you, momentum and not being able to keep momentum going was one of the reasons why I fell apart, even when I was at the top of my game. All right? And momentum and not having momentum can be one of the key things that can hold you back from achieving your main goal, your main dream. Now, let me ask you this. Let's go back to the weight loss example. I know this is a wealth program, but this is an easy example to relate to. I don't know if you've ever been on a diet program or ever been trying to lose weight, but it can be really hard when you first start out. The first few days are tough, but suddenly you step on the scale one day and you see a pound gone. You lost a pound. Now you get excited. Now you're like, oh my God, it's working. Oh my God, it's working. And that day you run to the gym. You're like, I'm so excited. You work out. You start eating better. You start doing more and more. You build momentum. All right? That's going to lead me right to the next segment, which is we're going to get right into select now. And we're going to get into the power of momentum. But before we do that, either pause the video now and take just one of your goals and practice breaking it down into mini visions, okay? And make a list of it down below. Tell me what you did in the comment section. Or you can keep watching. Make sure you come back and do this exercise. And make sure you register for the Monday, May 12th training. One of the times that fits you. Register for it because it's going to blow your mind. All right? So now let's move on to select and let's talk about the power of momentum. All right, now it's time for the second S. The third letter of VSS is to select. Now, there are two concepts that I want you to consider very carefully when it comes to selecting. Now, remember, selecting is all about law of focus. I'm telling you something right now. Focus is key. I'm going to give you a quick story here that I always tell. I've told it 1,800 times. And it's one of my favorite stories. So about 14 or so years ago, I was reading my favorite business magazine, may it rest in peace, Business 2.0, and they had an article and they were talking about Mark Cuban in this article. All right, and at the end of it, they gave Mark Cuban's email address, and they said, if you email him, he'll email you back. And I thought, he's a billionaire. What the hell is he going to email me back for? All right, I won't take you up on the challenge. And I sent him an email. Surely enough, the guy responds on his private jet on the way to a Dallas Mavericks game, and he responds to me. Now, my question to him was, something like, the email went something like this. Dear Mark, I'm this young entrepreneur. I was still in college at the time. And I want to do big things in my life, and I'm working on 5 businesses right now, 5 ideas. And I just wanted to know, what is your number 1 advice for me? And his email back to me was this. Dear kid or something, sorry if I keep this short, on the way to a game. My biggest advice to you would be, drop 4, focus on 1. And I remember reading that email and thinking, I was so angry. I thought, you yourself have like 8 companies. How dare you tell me to only do, And I was so convinced. I was like, oh, he's intimidated. Doesn't want me to come challenge him and become big. And I don't know what kind of stuff went through my mind. But that's how much I believed in myself and being able to become successful. So I went on with my own ways. Then I met another one of my mentors today who's a mentor, and I remember him teaching me, and he taught this on stage. He taught something that I want to share with you today. He taught this example, and his name is Mike Filsaime, and he said, let's say you're working on 10 projects. Each project needs 100 hours to complete, okay? So you need a total of 1,000 hours. Now, let's say you work on each project 1 hour a day. It'll take you 100 days to complete 10 projects. Okay? Or you could work on one project 10 hours a day. And then you'd be able to complete your first project in just 10 days. And you wouldn't be left with this massive number of projects to then do something with all at the same time. And I remember thinking, I'm a math guy, right? So I thought, oh my God, that makes total sense. So law of focus is very key. And I'm telling you right now, the biggest transformation I made when I finally made my first $10,000 online was I did just what Mark had told me to do. I dropped 4 and I focused on 1. So in selection, we're going to focus on the law of focus, but we're going to do it a little differently. And I'm going to put the power of momentum in your, under your belt. And it's one of those most incredible forces that can really move you. All right. Now, again, Monday night, May 12th, is when I'm going to really get into how to select, because you've got to properly do the Mini Vision Mastery system first. You got to put PEG method into action, and it kind of selects for you. Okay. But let's talk about power of momentum. Now, I gave you an example just a few minutes ago about my chunks of debt. Okay. One of the simplest concepts I'll share with you is something called low-hanging fruit. All right. So I shared with you where I had, $200,000 in debt in one place. I had $350,000 in debt in one place. I had $500,000 in debt in one place, and on and on and on. Well, low-hanging fruit, okay? It's the smallest number. What I want to do is create momentum. So if I had a number even smaller than this, let's say I had a 50,000, I'll do it. I'll go for that first. Or I'm even so crazy about the Mini Vision program now. I'm so crazy about, the power of momentum that I may very well take this 200,000 and further split it into more mini goals. All because I want to create momentum. And what I would do here is my first mini goal may be $10,000 because that's easier to do. My next one could be $50,000. My next one could be $100,000. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up right now. Like as far as numbers, they may not add up. So the whole point here is once you hit this, something happens inside of your mind. Okay, that's going to just propel you to want to do more. It's going to get you focused. It's going to make you believe. This is why I keep telling you guys, instead of trying to trick your mind, start learning how to ally with it. Start learning how to make it your friend, because it can do things for you on a subconscious level that would otherwise require a lot of energy, a lot of pain, and a lot of time. So the power of momentum is basically choosing one of your mini visions, your goals, that is low-hanging fruit, that you know, okay, look, if I just focus on this, I can do this. For example, losing weight. 3 pounds, not 30. You focus on losing 3. You may even say, you know what, man, I have such a block about losing weight. 1 pound. You know, come on. In 2 days, you can lose 1 pound. 3 days, 4 days. Just go to the gym. Just go for a run for 3-4 days in a row, and you'll lose 1 pound. You firmly believe you can lose it. But when you actually lose that 1 pound, things kick in here that you don't even understand or know. And before you know it, you start to be able to achieve bigger and bigger and bigger. So low-hanging fruit of all your dreams. So when I looked at my vision board, right, I had a dream that was worth 100,000, 200,000. I had a dream that was worth 400,000. I had a dream that was worth 30,000. That was my Australia trip. I need to show myself that I'm capable of moving towards my dreams. So what I'll do is take that Australia trip, break it into mini goals, and then all of a sudden I saw, okay, if I can save $3,000, I can stay in a 5-star hotel for 10 days. $3,000 compared to the $15.7 million overall goal I had is much more doable. I'll put that aside and say that's the first one I'm going to work on, low-hanging fruit. All right? And I'll hit that pretty soon, and when I do, I'm going to feel damn good about myself. And then I'll go for the 10,000. And then I'll start to move towards other ones. Now, that may or may not be the right selection, the right steps in the wealth map. I have to go through the PEG method, which I'll share with you on Monday, May 12th. But this just starts to show you that your dream board is step one. From there, we organize. Remember, I told you your mind is a scattered puzzle. And we put it all together and we build a wealth map. Now you start to see how that's coming together. So, power of momentum is very key. And by utilizing momentum, not only will you be happier, but your dreams will come to you a lot easier. All right? So next, we're going to talk about a very quick concept called the wake-up test. It's one of my favorite tests to help me determine what I'm going to select in my life to focus on. Okay, now for the second thing about the select process that I want you to be aware of, it's a very simple little test. Some of you are going to think, oh, that's so cliche, Anik, but you know what? It really works. And for me, it's helped me just be happier. So I know we talk about wealth and we talk about, let's go get it, let's have a future of wealth. But let's not forget that throughout that whole process, we also want to be happy, right? So here, I'm looking at something I call the wake-up test. It's a very simple concept, all right? What's the wake-up test? When you wake up in the morning, do you want to get out of bed? It's a wake-up test. Whatever you have planned for that day, does it make you want to get out of bed? Remember I talked about mini goals, mini visions, and I said that, hey, I might choose to do Australia. Well, it's not on my board now, but I may choose to do Australia first. Well, that's a good question, but does that dream inspire me in the morning? Does it make me think, oh, yes, today I'm working towards that $3,000 I'm going to save up for the hotels so I can go to Australia? You know, and it needs to. Let me give you a very personal example. This morning, okay, I'll start here. I'm not a morning person. Anyone who knows me laughs and jokes about it. People always laugh. I just can't get up in the morning. My day doesn't start. You know, it's not the amount of hours of sleep I need. I can go to bed at 6 in the morning and still be up by 10, 11. Or I can go to bed at 9 p.m. and it still won't be up till 9, 10, and 11. All right, I just don't like the mornings, okay? And so last night, before I was getting ready to film this, I was up till late. I was up till really late, preparing for it, prepping, doing some other stuff. And then I had to get up. I only got like 4 hours of sleep. And I bet you can't even tell, right? I'm jazzed. I'm excited. I popped out of bed and I got ready. And the wake-up test, all right? I popped out of bed. I got ready. I was excited. I was ready to come to this studio to shoot this video for you. This is what I want to do with my day. This is going to take me all day. I have other videos to shoot, and I love every minute of it. So the wake-up test basically says, hey, when you wake up in the morning, the thing that you're currently working towards, that dream, does it inspire you? Because if it doesn't, you're selecting the wrong thing. You're, again, not allying with your mind. So don't push your mind. Don't try to trick it. Don't push it saying, no, 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 the process says I should be doing this, so you will like it. because it won't. And it's just going to work against you, and it'll create a hole, and you'll eventually fall into it. Whereas we can just work right alongside of it. All right? So the wake-up test is exactly that. Whatever mini vision you've chosen to focus on, and especially after you go through the Monday webinar and we choose a mini vision to focus on, well, does it make you want to spring out of bed every morning? Does it? You tell me. So go below here, okay? You see the comment box. I want you to tell me, what mini vision have you chosen? What are you thinking that you are going to fully focus on? It could change. It's fine. On Monday when you attend the webinar, it could very well change. But for now, what are you intending to be? What is it that passes these tests? What do you think you're going to focus on to help create momentum? All right, go below and put it into the comment field. And again, let's see what you come up with.
What I love about this course, it's really practical and just really easy to follow and do.
My days are completely different now. My mind thinks different now, and I've never been so excited about my future.
I actually know what I want, not just what I think I should want, but what I really want. And I'm really excited about the rest of this course, and I'm looking forward for more changes to come.
Hey, so what do you think? Today was supposed to be step one to helping you get going and starting to unlock those inner assets inside of you already to help make all of your dreams, all of your wealth goals come true, right? We got a lot more coming, but I'd love to hear what you think. So go to the bottom, scroll, and leave a comment. I hope you've gotten a lot out of it. We've given a lot of exercises, so do me a favor, okay? Make sure, please, go back in the video, watch it as many times as you need to, but complete the exercises because these are really important exercises. And then make sure to leave your results in the comment section below. Share it with the world, share it with me. Let's discuss it. Let's talk about it. Let's improve upon it. Look, you've got a lot already inside of you. We just need to do a small shift and we can get you the rest of the way. And you can do a lot more than you even ever imagined, all right? Now, the next step for you, besides doing the exercises and leaving me comments below, is I want you to join me, all right? We are going to have 2 separate webinars. I'm trying to do this to accommodate different time zones for people all over the world. I'm going to do one at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to do one at 8 p.m. Eastern. Please find wherever it is on this page a link or a place to register for the webinars. Now, we have limited seating. As you know, GoToWebinar system only allows us to do up to 1,000 people. So these are going to sell out, or not sell out, fill up really fast. So do it right away and make sure you mark it on your calendar. Okay, so many people register for these training sessions and don't show up. Don't be one of those people. I'm going to be sharing some really powerful stuff with you on this webinar. I'm going to share with you something that is very near and dear to my heart. I call it the PEG method. I kind of created this by mistake, and it is just one of the most powerful tools you'll ever use to improve your life. And I'm also going to share with you more about the Mini Vision Mastery Program, how to really take little visions and build a life of complete financial freedom from them. All of this is coming up on Monday, May 12th, again, 3 p.m. Eastern Time or 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Please do make note of the Eastern. Now, click the link, register. You're going to get reminder emails from GoToWebinar. I'll also personally send you reminder emails. Again, very limited seats, so don't wait. Register right away. Then, after registering, make sure you go back, do every exercise, leave comments below, and communicate with us. Tell us what you've done, and we'll give you our reviews back. All right? I will see you Monday.